I'm so hungry. I'm filming this on an empty stomach, so whatever food I'm going to eat after this is going to be amazing. Hey kiddos, welcome back to my YouTube channel and to another episode of Thinking Like a Taurus, the podcast where we be thinkering a bit too much. I've been thinking a lot lately, and not about like important decisions, just by the most random stuff you can think of. That's exactly why this episode is called Creative Independence, is because I've been thinking too much, doing too much creative stuff on my own. Creative independence. And there's a brain on the whiteboard. You see that? Brain. By the way, before you ask, yes, this is a Subway shirt. It says bold on it. I'm not going to get rid of it. It says bold on it. All right, enough rambling on. Let's just talk about what's been going on in our weekly update. So far, not too bad. Actually, I just streamed making Lavender's costume for the Renaissance Fair because I'm going in 2 weeks, I'm going in like a week. I'm so excited for the Renaissance Fair, but I already talked about it in the last podcast episode. Go check that out right here, Ready, Set, Renaissance. You know it. But I redid a bunch of bits on her costume. It was so much fun hanging out with you guys on TikTok. I tried to stream on YouTube, but I wasn't getting a lot of traffic, and I knew TikTok would get a lot of traffic, and it did. I got over 500 viewers and 2,000 likes on it from one very generous person from spam liking it, so thank you for liking the stream. But we made so much progress involving her costume, and it looks amazing, and I can't wait to show you guys. I actually have a plan on how to show you guys her costume, so keep an eye out for my next video. A wink. But speaking of conventions, actually the day that this releases, which is July 2nd, I'm going to Fan Expo Denver. I'm so excited for that. And the reason I'm going, I've said this before, the reason I'm going is because Neve Campbell is going to be there. And so many people from the Scream cast are going to be there. So that means they're going to have a big panel, and I'm not missing that. And I'm so excited to just talk to her. Honestly, she's just one of my biggest heroes ever. And I'll talk about more why later. But I get to see her the day that this comes out. So I also planned out my Halloween costume. Yes, I know it is July, but I live for Halloween. Halloween is my entire life. Why do you think I go work at Spirit all the time? Is because I adore Halloween. I'm already planning my costume, and I can't wait to show you guys that either, but I'm not going to show you or tell you just yet because I want to work out some plans, and I want to keep the idea to myself for right now, and then I'll spread the word once it's been made and once it's made a premiere on my YouTube and my TikTok, most likely, and my Instagram, of course. But I made some really big plans for Halloween, and from what I have, it's gonna be amazing. And I'll give you a small hint. It's a costume from a Netflix show, and that's all I'm going to tell you. But yes, so much has been going on over these past couple of weeks, specifically in the creative department. Because like I said, made Lavender's costume, and that takes so much brain work. So good. If you missed the stream, I'm sorry, but you are going to see the costume in its full glory coming up within a week. So you'll still get to see it. And keep an eye on my TikTok. You'll see a bunch of videos of Lavender there, I promise. But honestly, that's a quick little summary of what this past week has been. It was a lot of fun, and I'm still working on Lavender's costume. Literally, as I'm filming this, her sword is drying right next to me. Now, of course, this would not be a Thinking Like a Taurus episode without the TikTok of the day. Today's TikTok of the day comes from an account by the name of Opal the Fairy, and she's adorable. Oh my god. She goes to Renaissance fairs, and she's a bubble fairy. Goes to Renaissance fairs and like messes around with bubbles and gives people pearls. Just the sweetest looking person in the entire world. And I found this video, and I really, 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 really wish that she was at my Renaissance fair because, oh my god, so sweet. I want to get a pearl from a little bubble fairy. Anyway, this is what she does, and also, may I just say, she's absolutely gorgeous. Those wings are amazing. So here is the video.
You all look beautiful.
I love the heart.
Bubble fairies.
So pretty.
We gotta move.
I'm obsessed with that. God, that's so cute. I want a like pearl or a marble from a bubble fairy, and I would treasure it with my life. I would take care of that thing. I actually got a stone from a little girl at the last Renaissance fair. She was just walking around handing around like these little rocks, and she goes, do you want this? And I was like, yes. And it's still on my mantle. I still hold on to that because that's such a sweet memory of this little girl passing around little crystal rocks. It's just so sweet. That's Opal the Bubble Fairy. I really hope I find a bubble fairy at the Renaissance Fair because I want a little pearl. I want a little pearl from her. Oh, speaking of the Renaissance Fair, before I move on to the next segment, I know that one was short, but Opal the Bubble Fairy. So speaking of the Renaissance Fair, I actually got challenged, and I'm going to get more in depth about this, but one of my followers challenged me to be in full character for the entire Renaissance Fair. And even better, I'm going for an entire weekend. Not just one day, I'm going for 2 days. So Lavender is going to be in full character for 2 whole days. I'm a little nervous about that. I'm not going to be filming the Renaissance Fest. I hope you all know that. I know I tend to vlog things, but I'm going to be so wrapped up in what's happening, and also I'm going to be in character. So I'm not going to really remember to record anything, so just a heads up, there's not going to be a vlog, maybe some pictures. Who am I kidding? There's going to be pictures because I'm going to see Jacques the Whipper, and I can't wait for that. Yes, there are going to be pictures, and I will do a complex right afterwards, but I'm not going to vlog it, and I'm very sorry. I will do a get ready with me if I need to, though. So we'll see. We will see. Don't expect any vlog footage because I'm not going to do it. I just want to enjoy myself. Same thing with Fan Expo. I'll take pictures. I'll probably take a quick clip for the video, but that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to be wrapped up in talking to my idol, so. But anyway, that was Opal the Bubble Fairy. She seems so incredibly sweet, and I love people that like dress up as fairies and go to the Renaissance Fair, and they do stuff like that. Like they pass a marble, and that's adorable. But I'm glad to see that she has a lot of fun with that, and I watched a bunch of her other videos too. She's like very big into bubbles. Obviously she's a bubble fairy. She has so much fun, and honestly has such a contagious smile. And the whole like heart bubble thing, that was adorable. So I love Opal the Bubble Fairy, and she did just get a new follower, and that one is me. There you go. That is TikTok of the day. Again, pretty short. I tried to talk about it as much as I could. I'm also kind of rushing this episode because I was preparing for Fan Expo this weekend. So this next segment has been on this podcast many, many times, and that should come to no surprise. It is another installment of Nerd Trap. I needed to put this segment into this podcast. You know why? Because a certain trailer got released recently. Don't worry, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I would highly recommend you go watch the new Five Nights at Freddy's trailer that came out 2 days ago. Please go watch it because I want to talk about it. I'll put timestamps of each segment in the description from now on. That's a little heads up. For people who want to avoid spoilers whenever I get into like a Nerd Trap conversation, I put timestamps. I'm going to start putting timestamps in the description of all of my videos, mainly the podcast episodes, so you know what to skip. So I'm going to start doing that, so don't worry. So the new trailer, let's talk about that. If you don't want to hear anything involving the new trailer, you can jump to this timestamp, or just click in the description the new timestamp where it's at. New trailer. I'm going to be fully honest here. I am extremely excited for this movie because we have been waiting for this movie for years. We've been waiting for Five Nights at Freddy's to be adapted into like a full professional film from like a big producer. Who's producing it? I thought it was Blumhouse. Was it Blumhouse? Okay, it's distributed by Universal, but the production companies is Blumhouse Productions and Stryker Entertainment. So yes, Blumhouse. I love Blumhouse Productions, okay? I absolutely adore their movies. Most of them I'm like obsessed with. I think they're great movies. When I found out that Blumhouse was working on it, I'm like, okay, then it's probably going to be pretty good. I feel like most of the community, the Five Nights at Freddy's community, is waiting to see what pieces of lore they use in the movie, because there's so much. If you follow MatPat, you know there's so much lore and theories. There is a lot that is involved with Five Nights at Freddy's. So I wanted to know, what are they going to use in the movie? And the trailer kind of helped it out. So you got Mike Schmidt by Josh Hutcherson. I could not, honestly, when I found out the cast, I could not believe that Josh Hutcherson was the main character. But I'm not against it. I'm not saying he's a bad actor, because he's a good actor. I think he's really good. The big reason that I got super excited about the casting was because Matthew Lillard is William Afton. William Afton and Stu Macher. I thought that was a rumor too, and then I saw in an interview he confirmed it, and he's in the cast. So I was like, Matthew Lillard is in the movie. I don't know how much he is in the movie, obviously, because just the trailer got released. But I watched that, and I'm also interested in the design of the animatronics. They look pretty cartoonish, like CGI'd, but I don't want to look up any behind the scenes stuff just in case I get spoilers. I don't want any spoilers. I'm living off of what the trailer gave me, because I want to go see it in theaters. I want to go see it live, like on release day, hopefully October 27th. I was interested in the way that they were designed, because honestly they do kind of look CGI'd, but I don't know if they are CGI'd or if they actually have models of the animatronics. I assume the animatronics were going to look a bit more, I guess, slightly beaten up, because it is supposed to be an abandoned pizzaplex. But instead they looked relatively brand new from what the trailer showed me. Anyway, I'm very intrigued, needless to say. I'm very interested in how the trailer played out. It looked pretty good, and I know everybody, like all the freaking videos that I found on my TikTok about the Five Nights at Freddy's movie was saying they want to see the Springtrap scene. I don't know if they did that or not, because I know all the OG fans are going to be watching that, wondering what it looks like in cinematic mode. I'm definitely really interested in how they depicted the game in movie form. That's definitely catching my attention the most. I have a feeling they made the trailer not do the movie justice. I'm not saying that the trailer was bad. It wasn't bad. It was really good, and it was really, like, attention grabbing. I just feel like the trailer dumbed it down a tad, and the movie itself is actually gonna, like, cause mayhem. I feel like the actual movie is gonna be way better than the trailer depicted it to be. With the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, this is meant to be a serious movie, and I guarantee the box office is going to, like, skyrocket. Because do you know how big the Five Nights at Freddy's community is? I guarantee the box office is going to go through the roof. Will it become one of the top movies? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Probably, based on box office, probably. It will probably reach high charts. That being said, everyone is wondering if Markiplier makes a cameo in it. You know, King of Five Nights at Freddy's. Everyone's talking about it. And he kept saying that there were a bunch of scheduling conflicts, he can't disclose any information, which was like leading us back and forth on whether he is in the movie or if he's not in the movie. And even if it's just a small cameo, because he's such a big part of Five Nights at Freddy's success. Him and MatPat, if I were to pick two, it would be Markiplier and MatPat, because MatPat makes all the theories and is the reason that a lot of people know a big chunk of the storyline, and then Mark played the games and eventually made himself the king of Five Nights at Freddy's, because he's played everything. You gotta see, if not both, at least one of them in the film. But I'm going to avoid as many spoilers as I can in order to make sure that I get to see it with my full raw reaction to the movie. I'm so excited for that movie to come out, because it's finally happening. But yeah, that is Nerd Trap, everybody. That is our discussion of the Five Nights at Freddy's trailer that came out. Again, go check it out. It's on YouTube. It got released like 2 days ago. Keep an eye out for the movie, coming out October 27th, 2023. This year. Okay, so this next segment is actually a brand new segment, I believe. I don't think I've used this one yet, but this next segment is actually called #BehindTheInfluence. So Behind the Influence is basically for actors or actresses or just directors, social media, influencers, news based on people. And I specifically want to talk about, as I said before, Neve Campbell. I want to talk about Neve because she's literally one of my heroes, right? Of course, Neve is very, very often known as being Sidney Prescott in 5 out of 6 of the Scream movies. She was mentioned in Scream 6, so she got a credit. And then, of course, she's also known as Bonnie from The Craft and Susie from Wild Things. Those are her top movies, I believe. She was also in Skyscraper with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And she was in so much more, actually. She was in a lot. I was looking at her filmography just before I hit record. She's an extremely talented individual, and every time I see videos of people saying, I just met Neve Campbell at a convention, everyone's saying she's the sweetest person in the world, and I cannot wait to meet her. Because honestly, she seems like she's just going to be the most welcoming person ever. Now, the thing I wanted to talk about is why she left Scream. Because it is the biggest power move I have ever seen, and the reason why she's like one of my heroes. So if you follow along with Scream News and you heard, she left Scream 6. She wasn't in Scream 6 because she didn't think that she was getting paid her worth. Left because of negotiation failures with Paramount Pictures to make Scream 6 and have her in it. At first, when I found out that the Sidney Prescott's not going to be in Scream 6, I was like, well, then is it even going to be a good movie? Because Sidney carries the entire franchise through all 5 of the films. They passed the torch down to the next 2 final girls in the 5th movie. I'm aware of that. Just because she passed the torch down doesn't mean that she doesn't carry the entire series still. So I found out that she wasn't going to be in the 6th movie, and I was a bit upset by it. I was like, I don't know if this is going to be a good movie anymore. It was a good movie, by the way. But then I found out why she left. I never lost respect for her, but I got even more respect for her. Because she left such a big job and such a big franchise because she knows her worth. And I respect that so much. I'm blown away by that, but also a lot of females in the industry, in the film industry, need to get that message too. They need to hear that. Like, know your worth. Don't get underappreciated, because this industry, or the film industry, can do that to a lot of females in the industry. And I'm specifically talking about women in the industry in this, because there are obviously other groups that don't get appreciated as much. But in this particular conversation, I'm talking about women. So when I found that out, I was immediately like, you know what? That's a pretty good reason to leave the industry, or not leave the industry, to leave the Scream franchise. Of course, I still went to go see the movie, and of course, it was still a pretty good movie. Would it have been even better if Sidney Prescott was in it? I don't know, because I didn't see the original script before they didn't get Neve. So I don't know if it would have been better, and I can't say it would have been better or worse with Sidney in it. All I know is that Neve left quite the footprint in the Scream franchise and also the film industry. And she's a big inspiration for me personally. As like a person who really wants to get into the film industry and like be a writer, director, actor, stuff like that, she basically gave a reminder, like, know your worth. Know what you're worth. Know that you're good at what you do. And know that other people should appreciate it. Because there may come a day where they don't deserve your talent. They don't deserve what you give to this industry, and you got to step up and be like, I deserve better. I found that as such a big inspiration for me, because I'm really stepping closer and closer into trying to get my foot in the door in the art of filmmaking. Starting this YouTube channel, for example, writing my own short film, finding places to submit it at. I'm finding groups online and all kinds of stuff. So people like me, just starting out, trying to get into the industry, not even in the industry yet, but trying to get their foot in the door, need to hear messages like that. So I just found that so powerful, and I really appreciated that. So Neve Campbell is insanely inspiring, and I cannot wait to speak to her one-on-one in just a few days, or technically today, the day that this video comes out. I will be on my way to that convention right now. But yes, that is behind the influence. It's either going to be longer or shorter. I just talk about influencers or people that make an influence in film, theater, news, all that stuff. So there you go. Behind the influence will be coming out more and more, especially since like creators keep doing stuff. But just keep in mind, behind the influence is never going to be a political thing, and it's never going to be a religious thing. It's never going to be a race thing. Nothing like that. Behind the influence is simply stating facts that have been reported on a situation, and sometimes my opinion. But if you don't agree with my opinion, then don't watch my stuff. Simple as that. But it will never be about politics, and it will never be about religion. Anything that's happening in big public news, most of the time, not going to be on here. This is for social media and like dumb stuff that happens, or really, really good stuff that happens. Just inside scoop type of thing. Never politics. Ever. I will never, ever talk about politics. But anyway, that is behind the influence, and I think that was a pretty good way to transition into our quote of the day. Today's quote, of course, comes from the inspirational queen that she is, Neve Campbell. I did some research. I don't have a clip of this one, unfortunately, but I did do some research, and I found this amazing quote that is really helpful for someone like me, like I just said, and for people who are starting to get their foot in the door for film industries. So I'm going to read it out, and then I'm going to explain to you why I picked it. 90% sure that this came from Neve. It says, "I find the most interesting and most daring scripts tend to be for independent films." Neve Campbell. I don't know when she said it. I tried to find out when she said it, or if it was in an interview that was televised or something like that, but I couldn't find anything. So I'm really hoping that is Neve's quote, because that's really helpful for someone who's an amateur writer. I'm trying to write scripts and everything, so hearing that was really helpful, because that means that I have an amateur view, but also like a beginner's view of what can go in the industry, what can become mainstream. So like I'm writing my scripts, and I just think of that quote, and I remember I'm at record pace. Like I'm already doing an amazing thing, and I'm most likely already coming up with a brand new idea that most people in the big time film directing clubs or writers, most of the time they won't think of that. It could become the next big thing. So hearing that definitely helped with my writing abilities. So I continue to write the scripts, because that just reminds me that this little idea that I have could become huge, could become like the next big film, the next one that breaks the box office, that sets new records, #1 movie in America, things like that. So that quote sticks with me, and I think I'm going to get it on I'm going to put it on some type of picture and hang it up on a wall at some point. So there you go. That is the quote from Neve Campbell about independent films. Another reason why she is seriously my hero. And I think that about does it, kiddos. But thank you, kiddos, so much for watching today's episode of Thinking Like a Taurus. And remember, keep an eye out for my next video, because I have a big plan for lavender. And make sure to check out my last video. I did a Q&A where you can get to know me and who I am as a person. And feel free to ask me more questions. I'm totally down to do another Q&A episode. Or if I just get like one question, we can ask it on a podcast episode. Go ahead, just ask your question. You want to know something? I'll answer it. If you get bored waiting for my next YouTube video, you can follow me on all of my social medias, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter, all at Uni Cosplays. Keep an eye on my Instagram and my TikTok and my Snapchat, actually. My Twitter a little bit, but keep an eye on my social medias, because I'm going to be posting a lot from all the conventions that I'm going to, all the cosplays that I'm doing, and updates on my life, so make sure to keep an eye on that. Also, make sure to check out the Discord that's in the description and in my link tree, and make sure to check out my merch shop, which is currently a Redbubble shop, but I might be giving an update on that, because we're working out some stuff with the store, and I might be providing in another link. So just keep an eye on my link tree, and of course, watch the next episode, because I will let you know if anything changes. And most importantly, the biggest message that I can send to you, kiddos, before I leave you is remember to express yourself and remember your worth, because seriously, the biggest thing you can rely on is your creativity and your independence. Hence the creative independence title. Anyway, kiddos, that about does it. So don't forget, drink your water, eat your meals, get some good sleep, and I will see you in the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves. Mwah! I love you. We did it. Oh. Thumbnail. Okay.